Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to UroNurse. I'm your host, Vic Sinise. Happy to be here. Happy New Year's almost coming up pretty soon. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. I sure did. As you can see, we're out in Florida, so doing a remote program from Florida. Having a great time. My daughter and my son-in-law and my two granddaughters just arrived yesterday, so they're out in the pool right now having fun. So it's a great time to be here. Hey, if you're watching us live, we come to you from all these different areas: YouTube, Facebook, X, LinkedIn. Welcome to the show. Also, if this is your first time joining us, be sure to check out our website at uronurse.com, the best place to go to learn more about the show. And there's 125 episodes out there for you to watch. All of our past episodes are available on the website. Maybe you want to listen in your car. Found out a lot of you do. So we are really tearing it up on the audio podcast. So a year ago, I started putting all the shows on audio. They come out after the show. So you can go to our UroNurse Plus area to find your favorite podcasting media, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or YouTube. We're on all of those. Just go ahead and click and subscribe, and it'll be delivered to your mailbox every week. That comes out about an hour after the show, I think, airs. So be sure to check that out. And this week, we're going to be doing our show for the kind of a review. I've done it in the past on 2025. So we're going to get right into that show. Feel free if you have any comments or questions to put in there. I'll try to bring those in, but we're going to go ahead and bring myself on, because I'm the guy who's here today. My other expert, Lori, was going to be here, but she got sick. It's bad time of the year for that. A lot of colds and things going around. So we'll hope to have our group back soon in 2025. But I think it's a good time to go over and kind of discuss some of the things that have happened over the past year. Kind of give you a little bit of a behind the scenes in UroNurse, what's going on, what might be new, what things are happening, how well is the show doing, just all that kind of good stuff. So let's get right into it. For those of you that might be newer to the show, UroNurse launched August in 2022. So right after COVID was cooking along, we decided to make this thing a virtual show. And that, as I mentioned, we have 125 past episodes. Today is episode 126. So after today, there'll be 126 episodes that you can watch. And just check them out. Go to the website and see the variety of stuff that's out there for you guys to learn. A lot of urology out there for you. A lot of great places to learn stuff. And the big thing I've always did from the beginning of this show, my goal was to bring the experts from all over to you guys to talk about different subjects. And we've had a great success at bringing in experts from all over the world, actually. So a lot of our experts come from the USA, of course, but we've had experts from Canada, from Israel, and from Sweden. And we're always happy to have people on that are experts in their field to talk about whatever they want. You can go on our website and send me a contact through our Contact Us. If you want to be on the show, we're glad to bring you on. The other thing we started this past year, and I think it's been a big success, is we partnered with a company called MyCME. And they provide urology education, and they also provide contact hours for free. And so I contacted them and said, hey, we have our education. It'd be nice if we could offer that. They said, we'd love to have you do that. So we did. And we put out 10 contact hours. Now, in the past year, 10 contact hours for free. That's pretty nice. Most of us need contact hours to renew our license. If you're certified, you probably need it for certification. A lot of contact hours for nothing. Our subscriber base keeps rising. So StreamYard is what we use to broadcast on. It's our streaming software. And we also have people that subscribe through StreamYard, some that watch it through StreamYard. Actually, quite a few of you do. And we're up to over 600 of you that are subscribing that way. So, hey, keep subscribing. If you're not sure how you subscribe, when you go to our website, there's a register for the show, and it will automatically register you through StreamYard. Nice thing is you'll get some reminder emails and things from that. Now, as I mentioned, we use StreamYard, but that's only to help also to broadcast everywhere. So it automatically starts sending our show out to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. And it's really been flawless and worked great for us. Also allows us to take questions from you guys, the audience. I think on everything except for X, you can send in your questions. So again, just use the comments if you'd like to have your questions answered. Now let's talk about YouTube. YouTube is definitely my number one go-to show, and it's really the place that I've got the most viewership. Um, and we get a lot of good analytics from YouTube also. So I know last year I made an announcement that we had become a YouTube content creator. We were recognized because we hit 1,000 subscribers. Holy cow, I couldn't believe it. Well, we've also gotten a recent notification that we had also gone over the 2,000 mark now in subscribers. I think we have about 25 new subscribers every week to the show, and it's fantastic. So I know we're over 2,100 last time I looked, but you guys keep subscribing. It does open up some things for the show that through YouTube that makes it a little bit of a benefit to have those subscribers, and that's why we're glad to have you subscribe. Simple, just click subscribe and you're an automatic subscriber. The other thing that was really impressive is how far of a reach UroNurse had. When I started this, 2.5 years ago, I was wondering if I'd have 20 people watch the show. And I found out that we've got viewers from over 46 countries. And actually pretty recently, I was noticing somebody had signed up on my StreamYard feed and they were from France. So it's crazy. You just have such a reach with this show. It's great. There's a need to satisfy for urology education everywhere, and we're glad to be one of the providers for it. Talking about views, we've crossed over 300,000 views on YouTube, and these are our top 10 shows. Just out of the 126 shows, BPH has always been a big one. With the number one show was on Optilume, and it had still close to 100,000 views, which is crazy. But also I put a video out for patients that was just because of all these minimally invasive surgeries and people going home with a catheter, and rather than coming into the office, removing it themselves, I thought I should do a video on how to remove your own catheter. So I did. And that's had almost 20,000 views. It's crazy, what these things have had. So we've had many of our shows are all of them probably are up in the thousands now. But yeah, just looking, things like aquablation, what is PSA, HoLEP, how to instill lidocaine jelly, how to properly connect your leg bag, what does a stent look like, BCG treatment, all sorts of things that have hit that top 10. We also are on Facebook. Facebook, I have a little harder getting some of the stats out of. Maybe it's just me, but we go to Facebook every week, and our UroNurse channel on Facebook, or page, I guess it's called, had 133 followers. Keeps growing too. So, hey, if you're watching us on Facebook, follow our UroNurse page. LinkedIn was a surprise to me. Sorry about that. LinkedIn was kind of a surprise to me in that there's a lot of people that are watching the show through LinkedIn. Now, I guess I shouldn't be surprised because that is kind of the professional, this is where the RNs, MDs, PAs, et cetera, are watching. But you can see our growth in the last year has been tremendous. Over 1,000% increase in viewership, 7,000 people, members that we have now at LinkedIn, and 20, I don't know what an impression is, but we got a lot of those too. So we're doing great. X I brought on last year as an add-on, and just to kind of see what things are working, what doesn't work. And I was surprised we got almost 3,000 views on X. So it seems to be going well. We're going to continue staying on X. It's just another format for us. And hey, I just got a like. I could see somebody put a like through on the comments. Thanks. UroNurse audio podcast. I was talking about that earlier. That was another shocker for me, was the podcast taking off the audio. So people do like listening to the show. I can understand why. I mean, I do it myself. You're in the car. I've got a 1 hour commute when I go to work each way. It's a great time, a great way to find out more about stuff. And so we've been doing really good in that. And actually, I use Spotify, which is a provider for audio podcast and video now. And we're going to start kind of looking into that more for the video side. And so Spotify sent me something about how we're doing with Spotify. So I thought I'd share that with you. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I kind of very interesting things that so many people that rate us as their top, top 10, top 5, or their favorite podcast. That's pretty impressive. Thanks for all you guys out there that are listening to the show. I'm glad to bring it out to you every week too, because it's just another way to get out that education. I couldn't do this without support, as you probably noticed. I think one of the things that's made our show a success is the quality we put into it, and having good equipment, using good software that helps make the show flow smoothly are all important, but they're not free. And because of that, there's cost involved in it. And when I started this whole thing, I kind of footed the bill mostly myself. Chicago Metro SUNA, our local chapter, said they'd be glad to help to support it and get it rolling. But it wasn't going to be a long-term way to facilitate it. So I started to ask some of the representatives that had been on the show, would you mind supporting our show? And they were all happy to get on board. We just added Convatec just recently. They're going to be coming up on an episode soon. And we also have had many great relationships and people that have followed up and stayed on as supporters throughout the show. And that's what keeps the show going. That's kind of what keeps the lights on. So thank you guys so much for your support. Couldn't keep the show going if it wasn't for that. The other thing I really get that touches me the most, I think, is the messages I receive back. Now, people will send messages via the online contact sheet that's on our uronurse.com website, and they also fill things out on Facebook and on YouTube, especially different comments. And it's just really, I can tell you that when I started this, I had hopes that this would be something that turned into this, but I didn't realize it would until now. Somebody here said, "Hey Vic, that we watched about the Lumia prostate biopsy system, and we're now going to adopt it." So, hey, that was great. I never even heard of it before. And it's really neat to people learned about it and now are following through on it. Episode 51 was very helpful and informative to me as a 57-year-old exploring solutions to BPH. I'm 72-year-old with BPH and have been watching videos with great interest. So, I'm getting all these messages from people that really could show that they found a lot of what we're doing helpful. A lot of patients, I could tell. I have found your videos very helpful. I want to share my history. Self-cath, you can kind of see that the bottom line is there was no instructions. They weren't getting the information they needed from the office they were going to. So they were coming to our program, to UroNurse. So with that, a year ago, I decided to create the UroPatient podcast, uropatient.com, which is facing the patients. It's information for patients to learn about what the things they wanted to learn. That show's been doing fantastic. Also, it has a great viewership, and every week it goes on. 52 episodes. We just celebrating our 1-year anniversary. Today, we're gonna have our 52nd episode right after this show at 10:30. So if you want to tune in and learn more about what happens on UroPatient, check that one out. It's also been a great place for people to go to get information as far as the handouts. So I created a group of handouts when I was working full time to give patients. And many people have written back and said they really like the UroPatient for the handouts. They utilize it in their office all the time to give patients their handouts. Now, if two podcasts are good, you may as well have a third podcast. So I did start a third podcast just recently called Streaming Bootcamp. It's a monthly podcast, and I've had my 5th episode will be coming out on the 1st of January. And these monthly episodes are to teach you, if you're interested in how to podcast, doing what I do. So kind of sharing that and pushing that along. It's a good way, I think, to get that message out too. It's every Wednesday, every first Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m. It's a nighttime show. There's 4 episodes. Like I said, the 5th one is coming up. Now, if 3 episodes are good, 4's got to be better, right? So I just started my 4th, or plan to start my 4th podcast. Dr. Jeff talks about sex and intimacy. It's coming January 7th at drjeffsextalk.com. You can learn more about it. You can sign up to be part of watching that first show, and it's going to have a live audience, and it's every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And actually, I had Dr. Jeff on the show last week, so I do have some excerpts from his show notes that you can take a quick listen to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vic. I'm super excited to be here and talk about the new show. I just thank you so much, Vic, especially for all the things you do to put education out there. UroNurse, UroPatient, it's such a cool thing. And I'm so excited to partner with you on now Dr. Jeff Talks About Sex and Intimacy. Here's the thing. We live in a world where sex and love are everywhere. They're pervasive in the media and advertising and culture. After all, sex sells, right? But when it comes to struggling with sexual or intimacy issues, the conversation goes silent. Often the healthcare people aren't talking about it so much because there's so much going on in that visit usually. Often the patients are feeling uncomfortable bringing it up. It can feel isolating and difficult at times to find reliable fact-based information. So I think the show just offers that chance to get that information. And I look at it and I think, well, who doesn't want more love and connection in their life? And that's what we'll be talking about a lot on the show. Cool. Well, it's so interesting. I started my whole career in nursing at Northwestern Memorial and the Acute Spine Injury Center. And all those patients had problems with bowel, bladder, and sexual issues. So I worked there for about 6 years. It had an ICU and a step-down unit. And
still playing the video.
Definitely, there were a lot of urology concerns. And eventually, urology found me and said, you seem to be very interested and comfortable talking about these things. And that's kind of how I got into urology and dealing with sexual dysfunction, bladder dysfunction, all those different things. So I did urodynamics, where we did bladder testing and we did bladder training, and then sexual dysfunction as well. Eventually, believe it or not, after quite a few years, more and more the need was to work with men and women with sexual dysfunction. And so eventually that became the focus of my work, working with men and women with sexual dysfunction. in the urology department. I still did a little bit of bladder training and bladder work, especially with men with prostate cancer. So my focus became sexual dysfunction, prostate cancer, and incontinence in men with prostate cancer. So I became an advanced practice nurse because the providers there were like, if you go back to school, you could just take over your clinic and really care for the patients, write the prescriptions, do everything. So I went back, became a board certified urology clinical nurse specialist. I also eventually went on to get my PhD in sexual health research, and I became a certified sexuality counselor as well. And I started being trained in couple therapy too, because what happens is when you have sexual issues, so we fix the problems, we work on the different things. Now we've resolved the vaginal dryness, or we've worked on some things to help with the erectile dysfunction, but the couple's not talking. And so they're really not communicating with each other and not getting along. So they're still not having sex. And so that's how I got into more of the counseling and things like that as well. So I have met wonderful people looking at all those different aspects of sexual dysfunction, the physical side, the emotional side, the spiritual side, the relationship side. And so that's really somewhat of my background. I worked at Northwestern, I worked at North Shore, and I currently work at the Jesse Brown VA with the veterans, working with men and women with sexual dysfunction, some sexual trauma, anything to do with sex. That's what we're talking about in my office all day, trying to help people. And if you as nurses have anyone who needs this information, this is who it's geared towards. Just like UroNurse, it's geared towards those patients and those people, anybody, anybody, but it's geared towards anybody who wants to learn about sex and intimacy. So please direct your patients to it. But we have amazing guests. You know, to me, my friend Dr. Susan Kellogg-Spass, who is has a PhD in sexology. Nobody knows more about female sexual health than she does, and she's going to come talk about that. Dr. Barry McCarthy and possibly his wife Emily, I'm not sure yet, but they wrote a book on desire. They're going to come talk about desire. It's going to be an incredible chance to learn really valuable, practical information on sex, love, relationships, intimacy. I'm super excited if you can't tell. And I'm so grateful to Vic because he has helped me so much. And I think your mission to get this education out there for both nurses and UroNurse and mine, which is really geared towards everybody, it's a huge deal. So I'm super excited about it. I hope your listeners are too. And I hope
we have a jam-packed show, the first show. So I hope everybody goes ahead and checks out drjeffsextalk.com, look at the website, see what stuff's coming up, and register for the show. As you probably noticed, I had some activity behind me because my little granddaughter woke up crying from her nap, and I wanted to get her taken care of, and Jeff covered perfectly for me to do that. The joys of not being at home and being on vacation is sometimes you get interrupted, but hey, without a glitch. I'm excited with that. You can tell Jeff is. But, one of the things I've found throughout this career of becoming a podcaster is really what I'm the guy who did was I lit the match. I got everything started. But really, the credit goes to everybody else out there, to you guys, the viewers that watch the show. I didn't know there would be anybody watching the show when I started this, or hoped there would be a few, but never to the numbers that I've had. To all the great experts that have been on the show that make the show, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. I don't mind getting up here and talking myself. I'm never short for a word, but having people that are experts in their field talking has really been a great thing to have. And all the supporters from the different industries that have actually helped to support the show financially so that we can keep it going. Big fans of them too. So we want to keep going throughout the next year. And that's what we're looking at is 2025. I think we're going to have a great year in 2025. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put those in right now, because this is going to be a shorter show. I'm going to just wanted to kind of give everybody a little chance to see what's going on. But I think I'll bring up some of these comments because I got some really nice ones going on here. Katie Bortel gave a Happy New Year from Illinois. And she also said good morning. Let's see, those are mine. Diane Clowers, good morning from Seattle. One end of the place to the next. And now Neil from Chicago said, good morning. And then Raj has congratulated me for the 125 episodes. Yeah, thanks, Raj. And Raj started viewing I think in this past year, and he's been on pretty regular too. It's been kind of neat. I do have a real strong fan base of folks out there that have been watching the show faithfully. I would guess that some of them never missed a show yet. Even though you can watch them on demand, it's kind of neat to have that live audience. Yeah, love the show. Great information. Thanks, Katie. That's another one of my regular fans. So it's been really a neat experience. I plan to be here for another year for sure. So who knows when this will all end. But as long as I have people that are willing to help to make the show happen and get on and give great presentations, and viewers that want to watch it, I'll be coming to you every week, every Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Time. Do or die, we'll be here. So, hey, play it safe. Have a great first, New Year's Eve parties. Be safe and watch the no drinking and driving, all that great stuff, because don't want to lose any of my fans. Charlene just said, amazing. And yes, have not missed any of the broadcast. Wow, that's really great. And again, I was really shocked about the audio. That was kind of a hunch to try that, and it's been a big success. So, and I'm really looking forward to the Dr. Jeff Sex Talk. It's going to be great. I think Jeff is going to be a powerful guy. He's going to be hosting it. I'm going to just be the behind the scenes guy for the most part, just running the show. I'm looking forward to taking that job for the fourth podcast, but having Jeff out there hosting it and kind of getting all the talent lined up. So it'll be fun. Nice collaboration. All right. We'll see everybody next week on UroNurse.com.